During my recent deep dive into the Clone Wars, I've tried to fill in the gaps in my knowledge, since I didn't even know what Star Wars was when the show was coming out. I've looked into when and why the Clone Wars was cancelled, and learned about some of the stories the team worked on but we never got to see. I've seen this popular clip from an unfinished episode before, but I only recently discovered that the full story reels from that whole arc were publicly released. Since we have all the footage of these unfinished episodes, I figured I would make a bonus video on them. This was my first watch, and honestly, I had such a great time. I loved getting some new and hilarious content with these characters, even if it's not visually perfect. If you haven't given this arc a watch, I definitely recommend doing so. Alright, let's get into it. Episode 1. A Death on Utapau. I like that they wanted to flesh out this planet and its different peoples, and to give us a little more context for it being Grievous's hideout in Revenge of the Sith. I love the setup of this episode. Anakin and Obi-Wan have come to Utapau to investigate the mysterious death of a Jedi, and along with not knowing who killed her, they have no idea why she was there. This episode feels like classic Anakin and Obi-Wan shenanigans, with the fun twist of a murder mystery. I love a good mystery plot, and the trail of discoveries they follow is intriguing and well done. The dialogue is already much more humorously quippy than in most of Season 6. But in contrast, I think we also see how much darkness has been slowly building in Anakin. He is immediately willing to threaten, or strong-arm, this Toydarian for information. And his personal history with Watto is certainly a contributing factor. This final action and fight sequence with the Magna Guards is already pretty fun, so I'm sure it would have been really fun polished up. Anakin having no restraint is pretty funny, though maybe a little childish for him at this point. And I guess Obi-Wan has a history of losing his lightsaber on Utapau now. There's not much more to say about this first episode. The plot is interesting enough to get the arc going, but the following episodes keep getting better. Episode 2. In Search of the Crystal. I'm gonna try not to comment on the goofy visuals too much, but I have to say, Obi-Wan turning straight into a running pose got a full laugh out of me. I think this is actually one of the funniest episodes of the Clone Wars, but only after a genuinely emotional scene, which is my favorite combination. Anakin seems especially impatient and frustrated in this arc so far, and we soon learn it's because he's thinking about Ahsoka. I'm sure her leaving has been really hard on him. Obi-Wan gently asking,
"Anakin, do you want to talk about it?"
is honestly remarkably sweet and supportive from him, but he also doesn't push further after Anakin dismisses him. This campfire scene is the clip I'd seen before, and I understand why everyone loves it. It's another rare moment of Anakin being emotionally vulnerable with Obi-Wan. We also never got a lot of Anakin between Ahsoka leaving and her return in Season 7. Nothing of him openly dealing with it. I would have loved to see more of him wrestling with that loss, and I'm glad we get some of that here. It's very in character for Anakin to be stuck in the anger stage of grief. His natural coping mechanism is clearly to be mad and defensive. However, his anger is directed more at the Jedi Council for not giving Ahsoka much of a choice. I like that Obi-Wan says something similar to what I did about her leaving. Ahsoka left well, like a true Jedi.
Even in her most critical moment.
How would you feel if I turned into a major disappointment? How well would you sleep knowing I failed you?
These questions hit hard, both because I'm sad that Anakin feels that way about Ahsoka, although it's more that he's taking responsibility for her decision on himself, as Obi-Wan says. And because I know what happens to Anakin and Obi-Wan not too long after this moment. It's sweet that Obi-Wan tries to encourage Anakin and has full faith that his friend would never fail him. But that also makes Anakin's future betrayal feel so much worse. It's also sad that Obi-Wan will fail Anakin, because based on what he says here, he never really saw his friend's turn to the dark side coming. There's so many good layers going on in this scene if you're thinking about it. And of course, both voice actors did such a great job. Going from that emotional scene right into this hilarious one where the enemy catches them asleep was a little jarring, but honestly so funny. It definitely relieves all the tension. Of course, Anakin tries to play it off as his plan.
I just woke up. You do seem rested. Wonderful. I'll make a very pleasant captain.
I did miss quippy Obi-Wan. I love him so much. Them improving a story with each other on the spot is so good too, especially with that slow pan around shot. The comedic timing is excellent. I wish so bad this was a finished episode because I need to see their facial expressions during all this dialogue, especially when they're arguing with each other.
Very good, Anakin.
No, I mean it. Look at all this grass. Have you ever been so excited?
The sarcastic banter, y'all, it's so funny. Once they're in the enemy's ship, Obi-Wan gets even more salty, and it does remind you of this duo's long history of missions together.
Are you quite done showing off, Anakin? No one's impressed.
Impressive, Jedi!
Can this episode get any better? What the heck? Anakin trying to be a slick gunslinger is actually kind of cool. All the escape action is thoroughly entertaining. The huge Kyber crystal is clearly for the future Death Star. They did end up using this idea in the Rebels show instead.
That's no mound. That's a spaceship.
Okay, I see what you did there.
That's no moon. It's a space station.
Episode 3, Crystal Crisis. Anakin struggling to connect with the animals is funny.
Well, next time you get the beast.
Next time I'll bring Master Windu.
Yeah, because he's loads of fun.
Y'all, I can't even. This arc is actually the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's just non-stop fantastic line after fantastic line, and the plot is just the medium for it.
This may, in fact, be the slowest creature in the galaxy.
Please try to relax.
Well, this is a turn of events. Did you just tell me to relax?
I hate it when you're right.
After the mystery turns into just how they're gonna steal the crystal, the story really does take a backseat to Anakin and Obi-Wan's dynamic. Also, I feel like I've never heard anyone in Star Wars actually say something like force grab, and it sounds a little goofy. The last half of this episode is just a long chase sequence, with decent action and plenty more humor along the way. Not much else to talk about. This arms dealer guy is pretty goofy, and Grievous is just typical Grievous. The Jedi using the Utapauans as human shields is kinda crazy though. Episode 4, The Big Bang.
Cavalier! You're Cavalier all the time, and no one says anything about it.
I'm just better at it, that's all.
Obi-Wan's indignation is so funny. I mean, Anakin's right, it's not as much your thing. This episode starts off with some fun space battle action, and of course continues the top tier banter, cause it truly never stops, y'all.
Try not to lose it again. You know, this weapon is your life.
I see you listen to some things I tell you.
Just the good stuff. Come on.
I could literally include half the episode at this point. They are so quippy. Oh my gosh, the writers clearly had a field day with this arc. It's kind of a tragedy it was never finished. And man, I need the full animation of Obi-Wan destroying those droids. But oh my gosh, Grievous could have straight up killed him here. And it's a little weird that he didn't. Just a plot armor moment. The amount of times Dooku has tried to have these two executed is ridiculous. The way they have to avoid Anakin and Grievous meeting this whole arc is also kinda crazy, but funny if you know and are thinking about it. The Jedi do both run by him from a distance, but only Obi-Wan waves at Grievous. Now that discharge from the crystal foreshadows how the Death Star works, and the explosion at the end foreshadows how destructive it will be.
It's amazing what you can accomplish when you don't get captured.
Well, being separated wasn't really part of the plan.
Oh, it's nice to know I was needed.
Honestly, yeah, the amount that Obi-Wan seriously relies on Anakin is a lot. There's just so many good moments that flesh out a fuller picture of their friendship. I think I mixed metaphors there, but whatever, you get it. I also think it's nice to watch just the two of them together for a while. We don't see as much of that in the show as you'd think because Ahsoka or someone else is usually there too. This arc being so quippy and comedic could have felt like a regression in the show, but I don't think it does, especially with that well-done serious scene in episode 2. It evokes the style of banter from early Clone Wars, but with the better quality writing of later seasons. And at this point, they know how to do a lighthearted tone without making it feel too goofy, especially with this core character duo. These episodes are just genuinely fun and hilarious. I'm so glad I watched this arc. I was not expecting to enjoy it this much. It's good enough that I'll definitely rewatch it and not even care about the unfinished visuals. Thank you so much for watching this shorter video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, subscribe to the channel for the Clone Wars Season 7 review. And hey, maybe drop a like as well? It feels weird to say, but all the real YouTubers do it, don't they? Anyway, until the next one, may the Force be with you.